stories, the need for us to actually speak with our own voices, and for us to realise that there isn't this one LGBT voice. There isn't this one thing, you know, and even where we share particular experiences in terms of parts of identity, we are diverse. You know, there are many of us.
Yes.
And it's important that we have those voices heard, you know. So I loved doing it as a piece. It was challenging as well. But Kairos in Soho challenges you.
Yes.
That's what this organisation is, you know. So
You've got to come to the table with your homework done.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's time for us
to open up any questions. Any of the people with photograph want to say something, what they like, didn't like, how was the process? And then we can open up further.
Sue Sanders, Schools Out and LGBT History Month. I really wanted to pick up what you were just saying. One of the things which has saddened me about LGBT History Month website is the fact that we're not getting many personal histories. The website's grown, it's being seen across the world. In places where LGBT is invisible, we had over 1,000 events last year in February across the country. We've had museums, galleries, libraries, schools beginning to embrace it. So it's happening, it's effective. But I couldn't agree with you more. Why aren't you guys writing for it? Why aren't you giving us your personal histories? I'm desperate for them. We make it very, very clear. I would have thought on the website we want to hear from you. We've got a whole area which says personal histories. I am devastated at how we don't get them unless I go off and have a go at somebody to write something. So please, can I use this moment, having heard the wonderfulness of Ajamu and Marai saying this, our political histories, our history, you heard the young man introduce Ajamu, he had a profound effect upon him. What we can put on that website, it's being seen in schools, can have an effect upon the next generation. Your stories, us in this room, we are inspirations, we are walking her street and history. Give it to me. Let me put it on the website so the next generation can see it. It's there for us. Please, please use it.
I forgot what I was going to say. No, I'm joking. I was going to say something about this photography business, yeah. Look, I think with the camera, I hate camera. I don't like cameras at all. But I really enjoyed that, you know. I thought it was really cool. And look, I found myself looking at the screen every so often. No, but seriously, I think it's really cool because you don't really see a lot of trans people, especially black trans people. You know, I mean, under the lens. And I think some of the members in my group were saying, yeah, you should do it. And I'm kind of glad I did. You know, so I think, why am I talking? I think what I wanted to say was, yeah, that was cool, thank you. Because it hopefully other people from every community, because I'm black, so obviously I'm going to focus on the black community. Other black trans people and black people, you know, can actually see that, you know, we exist, we're here. And I think I can kind of like relate to what the lady was saying earlier when she was talking about, you know, being of size and so forth. I know like being trans is similar, I think, not the same, but it is similar, like being, you know, invisible. You know, it can be painful, but you know, it can be good too. And I think that's the main thing. You know, creating our own communities and, you know, creating our own histories and having our own past and woes and having, you know, creating a life. I think that's so important. And coming back to a little bit earlier, we was talking about funding. I must have said, no, I'm on the roll. So I think it's also important that we do try to look for ways to fund ourselves as well. I know in different organisations are, you know, much bigger, much more established, and, you know, they rely on the funding and so forth. But, you know, in small organisations, I know Tea House, we don't have no funding, we're still here. You know, it's about looking at ways of maybe working with different organisations. If one's got, you haven't got, you can swap and chop and change different, you know, different skills and so forth. But I think that's important. That's it. I'm not saying that.
If I could take all those words that I said before, and sorry for swearing as well, there's two words you said, and they so resonate with me. The personal is the political. I've been taught that from my early days, and I just wanted to ask you, for me, it's my relationship with feminism. I just wanted to ask if you could talk a bit more about the personal and the political, that you can't separate them, and maybe in our past debate, that's what it was about, we were separating them in the room.
Sure. So, for me, my relationship with feminism is this. How we came up with the conversation this morning in my office about aspiration was because we were saying, I'm a black feminist because. And for me, my relationship with feminism, my relationship with the personal and political is really simple. I don't know any other way of being. I don't know how to not view the world through these lenses which are constantly being politicized and repoliticized, because my identity is a political phenomenon, if that makes sense. So, I think, for me there's something about understanding the places of privilege that I occupy and the places where I occupy a position of disadvantage, and I choose to work my politics. I don't think everybody has to do it that way. I think you can have the personal be the political, and you can actually interact in your life in such a way that you honour that. Or you can opt out. Some people are going to opt out of it. For me, that's not an option. For me, I live and breathe it. I think I'm probably really irritating as a friend. I think I'm probably really, sometimes the most, I'm probably the most annoying person to watch a film with. I'm probably the most frustrating person to walk down the street with. I cannot, because those lenses are always there, and that's what it means for me. It means, because I do want a different world. I absolutely, if I thought that it was going to be this way all the time, then I'd throw the towel in. And I think part of what we have to do in terms of sector, well, we don't have to, but for me it's important to do, is to actually think beyond just what we see right now as a pain and the hurt and the anxiety. And that's real, and I'm not saying that to invalidate any of those things. But we have to know that we are striving for something beyond the current experience, which is why the personal is political for me. And it is about next generation. It is about wanting a different world for my children. But I want a different world now. Yes. Right? I want it now, so I am up for it now. And I'm not trying to simplify it. I know that we're engaged in battles on so many different fronts. But I think, for me, I just can't afford to not be engaged in that battle. It would dishonour me. And I don't expect everybody to do it. And I'm not asking that everybody become quite boring when they're watching films and everybody's critiquing everything through every possible lens of intersectionality, because it's knackering and it can be dry. But for me, it gives me a richness in terms of the sense of honouring myself. That's what it means, and that's very long-winded.
I can't answer that, but yes.
That thing there.
That thing there. Yeah, totally agree. Beautiful.
This is so exciting. Yeah, it's really exciting to hear conversations about art and creativity. As a creative person, that's really cool. So I have to get my stream of thoughts out, I'm so excited. So going back to what Jahil said as well about this body of work, just as a comment, I think it's really exciting because, and I've had this conversation with you so many times, and this kind of influences my work, is that when I came out, I'd never seen a black lesbian. I didn't actually even know that was possible. So to like look at your work and be in your work is a big deal for me, and I think really makes your work really valid, if it needed validity or whatever. And I think the other thing that more a question rather than a comment was, for me as somebody who creates work and works creatively, there was a time when dancing and making dance was therapy, and it was my way to get away. And as I've gotten older, and this thing about your personal being your political and working your politics, it's become my way to work my politics. I guess I want to ask how you deal with that when your escape becomes your work. And then where are you running to, bruv? Like, there is nowhere anymore. So I want to,
However,
yeah.
I didn't feel that I can run. It's a difficult answer. Basically, I said before, I have moments when I've just had enough of this kind of work, and basically, I just want to be a photographer. But actually, they are one and the same. And so actually, there is no separation. And basically, I think that's the way how kind of identities work actually. It is messy, and you can't separate it easily or cleanly. The way that people expect or think that you can do that, and so basically, I am my work. So once again, actually, the process and the end product is one and the same. And then actually, sometimes the end product is the process. That's what there's all these different layers happening. And sometimes it does make sense, and then sometimes it doesn't, but then I think that's how being creative is such some form kind of works. It makes sense at some point. Sometimes years later, I go back to